Imagine this. The AI tool you rely on for everything, writing your emails, planning your weekend trips, even answering life's big questions, suddenly starts selling you stuff. That's right. OpenAI, the genius behind ChatGPT, is toying with the idea of ads. And if they do, we're not just talking about a little banner in the corner. This could flip the entire advertising industry on its head, and maybe even take down Google in the process. But that's not all. Stay tuned as we uncover Google's slipping dominance in search, Canada's record-breaking government ad spend, and how Jaguar's rebrand has set the internet on fire. Oh, and yes, we've got the ad of the month. It's a doozy this time. Take a seat and make yourself comfortable for this month's edition of Ad News. First, let's talk about OpenAI, creators of ChatGPT.
Inside a nondescript building in the heart of San Francisco, one of the world's buzziest startups is making our AI-powered future feel more real than ever before. They're behind two monster hits, ChatGPT and DALL-E.
Here's the deal. OpenAI is under a lot of financial pressure. Building world-class AI isn't cheap. It's costing them billions, and they're on track to spend over $5 billion in the near future. So ads are on the table. CFO Sarah Fryer said it herself. They're exploring ad models to generate revenue. And while they've said it just as an idea for now, we all know how this story goes. Once you start thinking about ads, it's only a matter of time before just exploring turns into, we've launched ads on ChatGPT. Let's play this out. If OpenAI integrates ads into ChatGPT, it's not just the platform that changes, it's the entire ecosystem. Why? Because we're talking about a shift in how people look for information. Right now, when you have a question, you probably Googled it, scrolled past the ads, and click on a blog or website. But with AI tools like ChatGPT, why bother? You get the answer immediately. No need to dig through pages and blogs. That means fewer clicks on blogs, fewer visits to websites, and fewer dollars in Google's pockets. And here's the kicker. Google's grip on the $300 billion global search ad market is already slipping. Platforms like Amazon and TikTok are gobbling up their share because people are using these platforms to search for product instead of going to Google. Add to the fact that nearly 60% of Americans are already using AI chatbots to make purchase decisions, and you start to see the writing on the wall. If OpenAI fully steps into the ad game, Google's fortress might not be as indestructible as we thought. And don't forget about Bing. Microsoft owns 49% of OpenAI. Imagine Bing Search fully integrated with GPT-4, turning every search into a personalized AI conversion.
Leveraging the power of GPT-4, Bing Chat now accepts images as well as text. It'll actually analyze an image that you upload and give you insights related and answers related to that image.
Bing is already stealing search ad dollars from Google, and with this kind of tech, they could make an even bigger dent. And this isn't just a fight between companies, it's a battle for the future of how we interact with information itself. Think about it. If ads starts popping up in AI conversations, we're no longer just asking for answers, we are being sold something in real time. Like, hey ChatGPT, recommend a flight to Paris. And instead of giving you options, it hits you with, here's our sponsored partner for the best deals. The line between help and hustle gets blurrier than ever. So what does that mean for us, the users? On one end, AI-powered ads could be smarter and less annoying than traditional ones. On the other end though, it raises a lot of questions. Will we trust AI that's trying to sell us something? Will the answer it gives be influenced by advertisers? And how will this change the way we consume information and even trust it? One thing is for sure, if OpenAI jumps in, the competition between AI, search engines, and advertisers is about to get a whole lot spicier. So are we seeing another big tech company trying to cash in on ads? Or someone trying to actively bring down Google? Let us know your thoughts below. Before we dive into the next segment, let me ask you something. Do you want to stay ahead of the competition and the crazy shift in the ad world? If so, that's where our programmatic advertising courses come into play. Think of them as the ultimate toolkit to understand how brands are making moves in everything from AI to display ads. Our courses are packed with insider tips on how big brands run campaigns across TV, audio, display, and more, all in one place. Plus, it's the best way to support this channel while leveling up your skills. You'll find all the details at tedjordan.org. And yes, the links is right there below in the description. We've talked about OpenAI flirting with ads. But let's shift gear. The king of search ads, Google, might just be feeling the heat. And not just from OpenAI. It turns out Google's iron grip on search ad is loosening. And it's not just a blip, it's a trend. Here's what's happening.
Search and advertising is Google's bread and butter. It has its moonshot projects, but search and advertising pays for all of that.
Google made a jaw-dropping $175 billion last year just from search ads. That's over half of Alphabet's entire revenue. But for the first time ever, their share of the global search ad market is expected to dip below 50%. Why? Because users and advertisers are jumping ship. Amazon is snatching up ad dollars faster than you say Prime Day. The search ad revenue jumped nearly 18% last year. Let's face it, why would you go on Google, search for hours for blog information and reviews about a product, then where to buy it, when you could just watch a 30-second TikTok review and add to cart instantly? But here's the real game changer, AI. A survey found that 60% of Americans use a chatbot to help on decision on a purchase in the last 30 days. That's a massive shift. AI tools are turning search into a direct, personalized conversation.
Please tell me a little bit about yourself. It's thinking, usually takes about a second to respond. I'm an AI language model developed by OpenAI. I was trained on a large data set of text and I'm designed to respond to questions and engage in conversation. Can you explain that like you're talking to a fifth grader? Sure, so imagine you have a really big library of books and you're trying to learn all about the world from those books. That's kind of what chatgpt did. Instead of books, I learned lots and lots from the internet, which is really like a big library that you can access from anywhere in the world.
If you can ask a chatbot, what's the best laptop for under $1,000? And get a straight answer, why would you bother with Google search results? This doesn't mean fewer clicks for Google though. It's a systemic shift in how we approach information and advertising. Google ads rely on user eyeballs and clicks. But if people are now skipping that process entirely, that $175 billion ad juggernaut starts looking a bit wobbly. And don't think Google isn't sweating. Their response? Doubling down on AI. But there's one problem. They are late to the party. Microsoft Bing. Yes, Bing is already stealing our dollars by integrating OpenAI's ChatGPT into the search engine.
In February, we introduced the new Bing, your AI-powered co-pilot for the web. And the response has been nothing short of incredible. We've had over 1 billion chats to date. And since that launch, we've had literally over 100 new improvements and new features we've rolled out. And today I'm excited to introduce to you 2 of them. Multimodal visual search and Bing Chat Enterprise that Sachi just announced.
So what's next? Will Google innovate fast enough to keep up? Or are we watching the slow dethroning of the search king? Either way, it's clear that the digital ad space is shifting faster than ever. And honestly, I'm here for the drama. Alright, let's cross the border into Canada, where Ontario just set a wide record. How wide, you may ask? Try 103 million spent on government advertising in 1 year. That's more than triple what they spent last year, and it's the most they've ever spent on ads. Now here's the thing, these aren't your run-of-the-mill ads for public health or snowplow safety. A big chunk of that budget, 43 million to be exact, went to campaigns promoting Ontario's economy. You might have even seen one of these during the Super Bowl or NHL game with the tagline, "What if I told you, you already live here?" Sounds nice, right?
For generations, this ally to the north has been here. And for generations more, we'll still be here, right by your side.
But here is the kicker. The Auditor General flagged these ads as ones that wouldn't have passed the old rules about partisan advertising.
The definition of the ad under the old act would have said, does it have information for people of Ontario? Is it informative? Is it educational? Is it providing information that the people need to know? And you know, if we both know that we live in Ontario, that isn't really providing me with information about goods and services.
So is this about boosting Ontario's profile or boosting political brownie points? And let's not forget the ad campaigns targeting the US directly. Yep. Ontario air ads across Fox News and during Monday Night Football to remind Americans that Ontario is the ally to the north.
The Premier's office says they're running the campaign where the audience they want to speak to is. On Fox News in prime time, during NFL games and in Washington airports.
Subtle flex or desperate plea? You decide. This all comes at a time when trade tensions are high. Remember when tariffs are being tossed around like hot potatoes? These ads are Ontario's way of saying, hey Americans, don't forget, we are your best friends in trade. But come on, 103 millions. That's a lot of love letters to Uncle Sam. So what does this all mean? On one hand, it's a bold move to sell Ontario as an economic powerhouse. On the other hand, critics argue it's a misuse of public funds, especially with the Auditor General calling out the blurred lines between promotion and politics. Alright Canada, we see you making it rain advertising. But speaking of budget and big moves, let's head back south for our next story. Google's courtroom drama in Canada and what it could mean for its global empire.
Canada's Competition Bureau is suing Google, owned by Alphabet, over claims of anti-competitive behavior in online advertising.
So as Google is trying to keep its head out of the water amidst all of the new competition, another storm brews. And this time, it's coming from the Great White North. So let's now talk about this storm. Canada has decided it's not just going to sip maple syrup and watch the digital ad market get skewed. It's suing Google. Yes, the country's Competition Bureau has filed an official antitrust complaint accusing Google of abusing its dominance in ad tech.
The Bureau announced this on Thursday, saying it has filed an application with the Competition Tribunal. They're asking the tribunal to order Google to sell 2 of its ad tech tools and are also seeking a penalty to ensure the company follows Canada's competition laws.
The core issue? Google allegedly tied 2 of its advertising tools together to maintain control over ad auctions, effectively giving itself an unfair advantage. So what's Canada asking for? Just a tiny request. They want to break up Google's ad tech empire by forcing it to sell 2 of its tools. And let's not forget the cherry on top. A proposed fine that could go as high as 3% of Google's global revenue. And for a company that's earned over $280 billion last year, that's not a small ask. Imagine now the ad campaigns Google could fund in Canada with that cash. Maybe even a We Are Sorry Canada apology tour. Google, of course, denies everything, claiming that advertisers and publishers have plenty of other choices, and that its tools merely help fund web content.
Dan Taylor, Google's VP of Global Ads, defended their tools, saying they help fund content for websites and apps while giving businesses, big and small, a way to reach customers.
But Canada isn't buying it. They argue that Google's overwhelming control wasn't a result of innovation or competition, but a calculated effort to box out rivals. And let's not forget that it isn't just Canada versus Google showdown. It's part of a global trend, from the US Department of Justice demanding a Chrome divestiture, to EU regulators coming down hard. It seems like the world is collectively telling Google, play fair or else. And here's the kicker. If Canada actually succeeds, this could set a major precedent for how ad tech monopolies are handled globally. So as much as this seems like a one-country spat, the outcome could ripple across borders and reshape the digital ad landscape. But let's throw it to you. Is Canada leading the charge for fairness, or is this just another regulatory headache for Google to swat away? Either way, one thing is clear. The fight is far from over, and Canada might have a way to fund its next year ad campaigns. And now, for the moment you've all been waiting for, our ad of the month. This one has been tearing up the internet, and not in a good way. Jaguar's new rebrand ad is here, and it's as controversial as it gets. Jaguar recently dropped the rebranding campaign in Miami Art Week, calling it the biggest change in history.
Type 00 is the first physical manifestation of the new Jaguar brand that's influenced by the desire to recapture the essence of Jaguar's original creative conviction.
A 30-second cinematic trip into a futuristic pink moonscape with eccentric models scooting out of an elevator. Sounds bold or weird. And here's the catch. There is no car in the yard. None. Zero. And their iconic leaping cat logo, gone too. Replaced by a lowercase GR mark. And a logo that marked Jaguar, like someone accidentally hit cabs halfway through. This ad is Jaguar's way of saying they are leaving tradition behind. They want to connect with younger audiences, embrace bold new ideas, and reinvent luxury for the electric vehicle era. But the internet didn't quite see it that way. Critics have been ruthless, calling the ad woke branding, and accusing Jaguar of losing the plot. One branding expert even said that Jaguar would abandon its route in favor of blending, where brands strip themselves down so much they just blend into the noise. And let's not forget the viral backlash. Guardian columnist Marina Hyde put it best. Hats off for Jaguar's inclusive branding. Now people of all backgrounds won't buy their cars. But here's the thing, Jaguar is in trouble. Sales have plummeted and they're betting everything on this EV luxury reboot. If this campaign doesn't work, the days might be numbered. And honestly, while the ad is everyone talking, I can't help but wonder if people who can actually afford these 150,000 cars are looking for pastel moonscape and edgy branding. Now, do I like the rebrand? Personally, no, I kind of hate it. I love the old Jaguar, classy, slick, iconic, the Jag. But I'm not the target audience. This ad is clearly aimed at a younger audience, which I am from, and a flashier crowd, which I'm definitely not from. Will it work? Maybe. But the competition in the EV marketplace is fierce. And Jaguar's trying to run with a crowd that's already as Tesla and Porsche leading the pack. So what do you think? Is Jaguar's bold new look the leap they needed, or just a belly flop in disguise? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, if you've got another ad you think deserves a spotlight, good or bad, send it our way, please. And that's a wrap for this month. From OpenAI ads experimentation to turning ChatGPT into the big advertising platform, to Google's losing ground in search, Canada's flexing its ad budget, and Jaguar's bold but controversial rebrand. This episode had it all. Now it's your turn. What do you think about ads creeping into AI? Are we heading into a futuristic apocalypse? Or is this just the evolution of digital marketing? And hey, I don't think this ad is actually worse than the Giants ad we covered last time, so you do with it what you want. Thanks for tuning in for this month's edition of Ad News.